Hello, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks. It's a wedding 2.0 pop off. Yay, we did it. It feels so weird to not say my normal intro. It's like muscle memory. Do you guys know it? Do you know the intro? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, bringing down the latest in reality TV and pop culture. That's it, but not today, baby, because we're popping off about Wedding 2.0. Years in the making, you guys. When you think back to the fact that I had a previous wedding date that was supposed to be August 18th of 2023, and think of how far I had to book that in advance. And now finally, as of July, today is July 5th. You're going to listen to this on a different day, but it's over. It's over. We did it. And I'm feeling a million different things. I'm feeling love, joy, happiness, peace, contentment, like all of the things. And I never thought this day would come. I mean, when you think back to David and I going through the pandemic where we weren't able to see each other for 2 years, you guys, we weren't able to see each other physically pretty much. Then having a 2-year fight for a fiance visa, to having to get married within 90 days, to having all of our friends and family from all around the world together for a full day, celebrating our journey and our love. It is like it's the stuff movies are made of, y'all. And I got to say, it was amazing. Of course, I'm going to detail all of it start to finish because that's what a pop-off is about. But I'm just feeling really grateful today. But let's go ahead and start at the beginning. So it was last Friday that we got married. And people always tell you that your wedding day is the best day of your life. But what they don't tell you is that the night before your wedding is the worst night of your life. And that is true. And I'm just here to warn you, brides, anybody that's planning a wedding, if you are staying at a hotel the night before your wedding, bring melatonin, bring NyQuil, bring whatever you have to bring to knock yourself out, to go to sleep. Because when I tell you, I did not sleep for 1 minute the Thursday before my wedding, not one. I have this thing that David and I like to call OCP. It's obsessive compulsive peeing. And it's whenever I'm really anxious at night and I cannot physically go to sleep if I feel even an ounce of pee in my bladder. Like even the smallest little drop, like you could drop it out with a little dropper. If I feel it, I have to go to the bathroom and I cannot sleep. When I tell you, I went to the bathroom probably 18 times in the span of 8 hours. Legit. I'm not joking. That's what happened. I was just laying in that hotel room thinking the most random thoughts, like, how's my dad? Because my dad officiated the wedding. How is my dad going to know which vows are David's and which vows are mine? Because we had them on paper. How am I going to make sure that I don't get blisters? Should I put Band-Aids on my feet like the night before? What should I do? Okay, now it's 4:00 in the morning and I have yet to sleep. And then these thought spirals are starting to happen. How do I make sure that my eyes aren't puffy because I haven't slept one night? How do I make sure that my face isn't puffy because I haven't slept for literally all night long. So there's your pro tip. You see all those TikToks on your For You page, like, here's what I wish I knew about my wedding. That is my one piece of advice to you. Bring the melatonin. Bring the NyQuil. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world full of pain. So the next morning, I was like, and when you can't fall asleep and you start to talk to yourself in your head and you're like, I have to fall asleep. Oh my God, I have to fall asleep. Oh my God. And it gets worse because you're stressing out so bad about not falling asleep that at the end of the day, it's like 6:00 rolled around. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. The adrenaline obviously was pumping. I had puffy eyes, but I used my little eye patches and we were good to go. Talk about like the best invention. Those little gold eye patches that you get from Amazon. I honestly don't know if they do anything, but they feel amazing and they make me feel like they did something to my eyes. So the morning of, all the girls together, like looking cute in our little pajamas, getting dressed. And I also don't know if this was just me, but the morning of, I was so ill. I was like sick. to my stomach. And everyone around me was like, Morgan, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just feel so uneasy. Like, my sister brought in a bagel box, and normally I'd be smashing. I ate half the bagel and I was like, I need Tums. My life is sponsored by Tums. Ever since I hit age 30, I can't go anywhere without them. I actually almost got mini Tums to put in every single bridesmaids little gift bags, because I was like, look, we're all over age 30 and this is our life now. I went through a whole bottle of the mini Tums before 1:30 p.m. on my wedding day, because that's how stressed I was. But also, people always tell you that stuff is going to go wrong and you just have to roll with the punches. Only one thing went really wrong on the morning of my wedding day. And I think just the anxiety from not sleeping. And then this, what I'm going to tell you going wrong, was just really making me feel sick. I felt sick. And I was like, you guys, I don't know. Like, can you check my head? Like, am I hot? Everyone's like, you're just stressing out a little bit. You're just anxious. It's the nerves, whatever. But my makeup artist had a family emergency the morning of. And when I don't want to go into the details of it because it's private information, but when I say like a family emergency, like, I was not mad at her at all, because there was absolutely nothing that you could do about this. It is like one of the worst things that can happen. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to have my makeup artist. She did come. I mean, I knew that she would come because she is such a professional and she did such an amazing job. But, like, even we started 2 hours later than what we were like time slotted to. Everything ended up working out okay. So I'm not mad about it at all. And like I said, I'm actually really, I'm really impressed by the professionalism that she would still come and do an amazing job despite everything that was going on in her life that morning. But that doesn't make it any less nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? Like, you can be as understanding, and trust me, I'm like the most understanding person in the world. But like, when you're 2 hours late, like, your timeline is 2 hours late and you don't know if all your bridesmaids are going to get their makeup done or if you're going to get your makeup done, like, the stress is real. But I just let go, let God, and I looked like my face was beat to God himself. Like, I was looking shimmery, summery, fresh to death. All my bridesmaids got their makeup done. So praise Jesus, he made a way. The ceremony was beautiful. It was just, it's like, even though you already did it, we did a couple things different this time to make it more special, not more special, but just different. Like, we wrote our own vows this time around. We did like the sand ceremony. Obviously, my dad walked me down the aisle and gave me away, and we had singers and all of our friends and family, and it was just really great. I felt like my vows were a little too long. They were 6 minutes long, I'm pretty sure. Because we actually did do a live stream for some of David's family that was still in South Africa that wanted to watch it. And so when I saw that like our vow section was 8 minutes long, I was like, oh gosh, we're some talkers. And then I realized that David's was only 2 minutes long, and that meant mine was 6 minutes long. And I was like, wow, I'm probably putting everyone to sleep. But everyone assured me that that was not the case, that they were beautiful and everyone was crying. And Dave was like, listen, I have a speech at the reception and you covered a lot of that in your vows. So it's like, it's fine. I'll give you a little tidbit of like what I said in my vows. So this is so cute, you guys. I was really proud of this one. So this is backstory. David and I actually dated, you guys know, 14 years ago when we both lived in West Virginia. I moved there in high school and he was on an athletic scholarship there in college. But when we met, he had already decided that he was going to go back home to South Africa. So we only like dated, I'm using air quotes because he never like asked me to be his girlfriend or anything, but we definitely fell in love for like 3 months at that time. And then we went 7 years without seeing each other. And then, the rest is history. But when David was leaving to go back to South Africa, he wrote me a letter goodbye, and I still have it, 13 years later. And in 2011, we loved Mumford & Sons. Like, we thought we were just these like indie little hipster rockers with, fedora hats and really chunky boots in the middle of July, running around, or May, I should say, because he left. But anyways, we would listen to Mumford and Sons all the time together. So the way he ended that letter were lyrics to a Mumford and Sons song. And it said, "My head told my heart to let love grow, but my heart told my head this time no." And like, I read that back and I started crying immediately because it's like, even though it's just lyrics, that last sentence, like, this time no, it's almost like we knew that we would have another chance. You know what I mean? Like, it was so undeniable between the two of us, even all that time away, that I was like, I don't know if this is just my first real true love experience or if this is my soulmate. You know what I mean? So I was just like, we knew we would get a second chance, and I'm so grateful for it. And we were able to let our hearts say yes. And this is where our second chance led us to. It was amazing. Honestly, my favorite part, I shouldn't say my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the day. Oh, wait, I need to tell you this. This was a lot of work, but this made my life so easy. And I know it's a little bit different because I got married this time at my dad's church, but we had like a mini reception directly following the ceremony, just finger foods out in the lobby, like, little sandwiches and fruit and crackers and like cake pops and stuff like that. And a lot of people told me, like, you're not going to eat on your wedding day. And I was like, no, I'm eating, and I'm eating all day long. And the fact that we had those little tide overs to get us to the reception was amazing. It was amazing. I wouldn't have made it throughout the day without that food. So if you have the flexibility of putting some food in your ceremony venue, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're not, now they're doing the thing where they take pictures first and then the ceremony straight into the cocktail hour. But if you're doing it old school traditional where you have that 3.5 hour gap, that really came in handy. So the bus was so much fun. We were raging. The bus was for the girls. Every single time we turned a song on, we'd be like, for the girls. It was Mambo number 5. It was C'est La Vie. It was Spice Girls. It was I Get Knocked Down, But I Get Up Again. It was amazing. We were raging. And my sister broke her dress in that moment. And I was like, you know what? Who cares? Pin it. We'll be fine. And then the reception was amazing. Like I said, just having everybody in one place was so great. So the things that I liked about my reception, these are some of the things that we did differently. We did the order a little differently. So we had all of our bridesmaids come out together and all of our groomsmen come out together, and then we were announced. But immediately after we were announced, we had everybody come out onto the dance floor for like a first big party dance. That to me set the vibe for the rest of the night, where it's like, we're raging, we're having a good time, so get your butts out on the dance floor. We really like that. And then we went straight into the cake cutting, and then we did our first dance. So we got all that out in one fair swoop. We did something a little different here too. We ate dinner next because I don't know about y'all, but I hate going to weddings and sitting, like, the speeches are always long. They were long for us too. And that's like one thing that I was like, oh, we got to hurry it up. But when your guests are hungry and they're sitting there and you're hungry, like the last thing you want to do is sit and listen to 8 speeches that are like 40 minutes long while you're starving. So we did dinner after that. And then while everybody was served their cake, that's when we started to do the speeches, which I really liked. Things I didn't like, I only had like one little thing, and that's the thought that I can't talk. What is happening? I felt like the speeches were a little bit too long. We had 4 people give speeches, but you know what? They always are. So like, who cares? And I was telling one of my bridesmaids about it. I was like, I feel bad. The speeches were kind of long. It was like 40 minutes. And she's like, Morgan, who cares? You have waited 13 years for this moment. You'll never have all these people in the same room again, ever. So like, so what? It's very heartfelt. It's emotional. It's special. Like, who cares? They can sit there and wait for 40 minutes and eat their cake. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Here is some of the extras that we had that were big hits. You guys obviously know the light up sticks are always like necessary at this point, and they're so cheap on Amazon. We did a little bridal karaoke, which was also fun. Don't let everybody do it, because if you start letting everybody do one song and then you're done. Otherwise, Aunt Carol, who's had 3 bottles or 3 cups of, glasses of white wine, is going to get up there and play that funky music. That's not necessarily what you want, but we had one and it got the party started. Here's something that I did that I haven't seen a lot of people do, and it was a big hit. We had, flip-flop baskets. So on the side of the dance floor, there were tubs of black and white flip-flops tied together with a cute little bow. Because also, what's another horrible thing about going to receptions? You have to wear heels and you can't change your shoes. And when you're dancing, it's like all you want to do is change your shoes. And so you can get them for like 99 cents at Old Navy. So that was something that we did and everybody loved it. There was not one pair of flip-flops left in that basket. My dresses. Let's talk about my dresses. First of all, the fact that I've had my wedding dress for 2 years, I was so scared that I wasn't going to like it. I was like, my taste changes so much that I had no idea like if I was going to still like it. But I did. I feel like the dress was honestly made for me. And this is no shade to all like the simple, dress girlies, but like make dresses extra again. Like everyone's got the satin, which no shade on the satin game. My bridesmaids' dresses were satin. But like I love the beading and the paneling, and like it was just so form fitting, and I just loved it. I'm getting some hate online for my the sleeves, right, that like come off the shoulder, because it's a sweetheart neckline and then it has detachable straps, which whatever. I think first of all, if you go online and say anything negative about somebody's wedding dress, that says a lot more about you than it does me. But I also understand that the off the shoulder is definitely a stylistic thing. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I loved it because I'm a little self-conscious about my arms, and I feel like it made me feel more comfortable and confident. And I just feel like it made it like a little bit more elevated, that it wasn't just like another strapless dress, My reception dress was the plain one with the big bow, short. I got that off Meshki for $125. So I needed it. I know my mom was like, Morgan, why do you need a dress? Like, this dress is beautiful. You only wear it once, whatever. But I'm like, I need to get down, and I can't get down in a mermaid style. So no regrets. The sparkle shoes were Betsy Johnson. They held up really nicely. I was worried because I was trying to break them in. I was walking around like cleaning my house in them all week, and they're heavy, right? So I was like, oh gosh, my socks kept sliding down. But honestly, when I was out there dancing around, I didn't have any trouble at all. So like I said, if you're looking for a little reception dress, Meshki has great options. And then the shoes were Betsy Johnson. The day after, we had a little barbecue, which was nice. My friends have a gorgeous, gorgeous house. They have a jacuzzi, in-ground pool. We watched the cricket because apparently that was a big deal. I still don't understand anything about cricket. No shade to the cricket game. I just am not going to understand it no matter how many times you try to explain it to me. But it was fun to watch the South Africans get like really into it. I mean, all in all, it was just an amazing day. And when you think about the fact that we had people there from South Africa, England, Canada, Seattle, California, Florida, New York, I mean, all over the place, it really does just make you feel super, super loved and appreciated. And also on the flip side of things, it makes it that much more disappointing when your family who lives 30 minutes away, like doesn't bother to make the drive, but whatever. I don't understand why people just don't show up, or why they don't tell you, because like I'll invite somebody else. Like there are other people that I want to come. We had, I think, 3 couples not show up, and I'm thinking about just Venmo requesting them, because how rude, honestly. Like, do you not know that we pay $200 for you guys to come eat and then you don't show up? I have other friends besides you. Like the least that you can do is send text being like, by the way, something came up. But anyways, it's the worst. So people have been asking me 2 questions. People have been asking me, why did Michael A come to your wedding? So let's start with that one. Well, first of all, he wanted to, obviously. But second of all, we've known each other for quite some time. I met Michael before Katie's season of The Bachelorette even started airing, because at the time I worked on our local morning show here in Cleveland. And because we did a lot of pop culture reporting, it was kind of an unwritten rule: look out for the local contestants, try to get them on the morning show, all these things. So I remember the bios came out and I saw that Michael was from Akron. And I reached out and just said, hey, best of luck. We'd love to have you on the morning show whenever you can, if you can. And he was like, yeah, whatever. So I, at that point, didn't know that Michael was going to be like this fan favorite on Katie's season of The Bachelorette. So we stayed in contact. He came on the show. He just is a great guy. I mean, there's nothing else that I can say about him. He's so nice. And so, we keep in touch on Instagram and stuff like that. So whenever we were talking about something one day and he was like, this might be weird, but I want to come to your wedding. And I'm like, okay, like the more the merrier. And he also did a little karaoke. It was later in the night. It was like 11 o'clock. He sang some Notorious B.I.G. and the people loved it. No, he did not bring a plus one. No, he was not like flirting with my single friends. He was just there having a good time. And we loved that. Another question people were asking me was, because I did technically both, I eloped and had a big wedding, which one did I like more? Obviously, they're very different. I feel like I still would go back and do both all over again, right? Like I would make a special occasion out of going to Florida with my family and getting married on a beach in October. But I also do not regret having this big wedding at all. At all. I know it was a lot of money and I don't like to think about how much it cost me altogether. But at the same time, like I said, there will never, ever be another time where all of those people will be in the same room at the same time ever again. Honestly, just having David's parents come from South Africa and some of his best friends come for this occasion, like I honestly just can't put it into words how special and how meaningful it was. Both of our, like my family and his family, will probably never be in the same place ever again. So I would do it all over again and I would spend all the money, maybe not all the money because I'm pretty much out of money at the current moment in time, but it was worth it is what I'm saying. And, looking back, like I said, I would do both. I would go to the beach in Florida and I would have this big wedding, but it's been such a ride, hasn't it? I mean, even talking to you guys about when we went through our K1 fiance visa process, it was so long, it was so hard. But the thing of it is that there was never any option for us to break up. Never. We never talked about it. Not one time were we ever like, this isn't worth it. And, my sister said something in her speech that, of course, made me cry. But it's true. Like, if this isn't true love, I don't know what is. We have weathered every storm, being young and stupid, going through different life experiences, going to college, him going back home, the growing pains of becoming an adult and making a life for yourself and a career and making money, and then going through a pandemic and then going through, the immigration process. And I just got to say, we've crushed every single obstacle that the world tried to throw our way. And here we are, Wedding 2.0 in the books. I'm kind of sad that it's over. Actually, I'm really sad that it's over. I can't wait to get my pictures, first of all, but also at the same time, like my sister keeps texting me. She's like, can we do it again? I'm like, yes. If we waited 13 years, I feel like we should have more than a day to celebrate with our family and friends. But also, I'm just really, really grateful that I got to share it with all of you. I didn't think anybody would care, really. And sure, nobody cares as much as I care. But at the same time, like your guys' love and support, and honestly, like your questions about how our immigration process was going and all the things, it means so much. We love you. And I can't wait, because now like our schedule's freed up a little bit and David and I are like going to work on something special for you guys. So TBD, there you go, the wedding pop-off. I no longer have wedding content to discuss with you. That's kind of sad, but also my wallet is so happy. So happy we're putting that credit card on freeze for the time being. Also, thank you to everyone who gave me a little 5-star boop boop for the wedding day. I noticed you and I love you. And if you haven't done so yet, please do so. A little 5 stars, a little love you like a sis, because you know I do. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming. There we go. Thursday, another episode of MPT. We're going to talk all about all the things going on in pop culture, like Lindsay Hubbard is pregnant. Say what? So we'll see you Thursday. Love you like a sis.